I want to talk about a team that is going to be in the playoffs, most likely going to be in the playoffs now. And it's crazy that they have overcome losing both games to their division rival, and that's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They went 0-2 against the Atlanta Falcons this year, but they are just absolutely cooking against everybody else. And I think if the NFL had an award for most improved player, most underrated player, whatever you want to call it, Baker Mayfield would run away with this award. There's 4 quarterbacks with 30 touchdowns this season: Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, Jared Goff, Baker Mayfield. Over the last 2 years, you know who leads the league in touchdown passes? Baker Mayfield has 60 touchdown passes in the last 2 years. Only Jared Goff has an equal amount. Nobody seems to talk about this guy when you're throwing around your top 10 quarterbacks, your guys who are really impressing you this season. And I think you talked about Washington being a good story. Everyone loved to talk about Baker Mayfield last year. Oh, he's a good story, his researchers, but nobody took him actually seriously. And I think this year, with how good he's been, it's about time that he sheds that label. And people have to stop saying like, oh, you know, he was with the Panthers, and it's great that he's back being a starting quarterback, and the Bucs are good. No, the Bucs aren't just good. I think they're a legit player in these NFC playoffs. People don't remember how far they pushed the Lions a year ago, and I genuinely think Baker Mayfield has been a top 5 quarterback this year, if not even higher. Like, he is just so good, and he gets the most out of his weapons. Chris Godwin goes down. Offense hasn't really missed a beat. It's still working for them. Like, they just put 40 on the Chargers in LA, and not enough people are talking about this guy. I don't know. I just think he deserves way more respect.
I think you got to first change your tone from nobody to everybody but Cat.
Yeah, you've been on him since he was playing scout team D-line for the Panthers. Actually, you've been on him since he was at Oklahoma.
Even before that. And you know what, Pac? That whole time, I was just smiling through that whole take. Not that you ever doubted Baker Mayfield. I'm just saying there's a lot of people out there.
There was a time where I was like, I think this guy might be. Do you remember when he had the Kyle Trask quarterback battle?
Yeah.
And there was that like video in training camp of them just like bombing it over the receivers' heads. Where's Kyle Trask now?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
There has not been a guy that's been more disrespected than Baker Mayfield, even when he was the first overall pick. Sure, could it have been Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen? Sure, hindsight's 20/20. I don't care. But that draft, when they took him first overall, they were like, "Oh my God, this is the worst draft pick." He took that Browns franchise from the slumps. He picked them out. He just dragged them out. That franchise still is a joke, by the way. It still is an absolute joke. Benching my guy Jameis Winston, even though he deserves to be benched. We'll say that for a different topic. All the way to losing by field goal to go to the AFC Championship against the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. And then for whatever reason, I mean, bad franchises do bad things. Deshaun Watson, come over here. Baker Mayfield, go to Carolina. Carolina takes him. Oh, you know what? We don't need him to play quarterback. We're going to have him play scout safety. Carolina, another bad franchise. Garbage. The Rams, hey, Baker, come here, play 2 days? No, you don't need it. Boom. Sunday night, or Thursday night, whatever it was, wins on primetime. Tampa Bay signs him, another good franchise, signed Tom Brady, doing the right things. And now he has made his way, and he is honestly probably on one of the greatest contracts in the entire NFL. I think he makes like $33 million a year or whatever it is, $35 million a year. There is not a single guy in the NFL that is easier to root for than Baker Mayfield, just because of all the BS that he's got to deal with, to be honest with you, because that's literally what it is. Everything from Cleveland to Carolina to the Rams, and now with Tampa, he's had to deal with so much BS on every step of the way. Because even when he got to Tampa, like you said, there was that point where, is Kyle Trask going to start with this team? No, are you nuts? Like, Baker Mayfield is a stud, and he is the perfect example of why you should never give up on a guy like him. Because he was a walk-on in Oklahoma, he has had to fight for every single step of the way, and he has never, ever, ever given up, because he's very easy to. Like, he could have just said, you know what? I made my money. I was a first overall pick. Screw it. I'm going to just fold over and sort of retire. And he didn't. He kept fighting back. And this Bucs team has playoff upset written all over him. You give me Tampa and Detroit, you give me a spread of like 4.5, I'm taking plus chicken on the Bucs all day. I am.
I mean, they pushed them really far last year. Like I said,
and they beat them this year.
Yeah, they're the only team. I can't remember who else they beat. There was a stat. Oh, the Eagles. They were the only team in the NFL to have beaten both the Eagles and the Lions.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
before the
Eagles.
Lions lost this week, they were the last loss for both of those teams. So
Yep.
they lost the Eagles in week 4, I believe. Lions in week 2. So crazy what the Bucs are doing. Shout out to Baker Mayfield. Also, you mentioned best contract in the NFL right now. It's very poetic that the worst contract in the NFL right now is Deshaun Watson, the quarterback that they moved off Baker for. So brutal for the Browns. I was also going to ask you, which draft class would you rather have? I was thinking about this the other day just because Sam Darnold's been so good this year. The 2 MVPs in the NFL are Josh Allen and
Sam
Lamar
Darnold
Jackson.
was in that draft too.
Yeah, Sam Darnold's third overall.
And Saquon.
Yeah, but I'm talking just quarterbacks. Which quarterback draft class would you rather have? 2018, so those 4 quarterbacks. Josh Rosen was in there too, but we can forget about him. Or 2020 with Burrow, Tua, Herbert, and Jalen Hurts. And Jordan Love.
Wow, those are 2 good classes, man. I mean, I think that's really tough.
I know,
that's
it's really
very,
tough.
very
We should
tough.
do a post on that.
Yeah, we
because
should. That's very tough. I honestly don't have an answer.
I would
for you.
take 2020.
I think
because I think Darnold and
yes.
Baker. Well, I think Baker, like I just said, he's got to shed the label. Like now, it's at the point where like he's a very good quarterback. Darnold, I think there's still a little bit of like some hesitancy just because this is really his first good year. Whereas the 5 guys from 2020, we've pretty much only seen good from them in the NFL.
Like you could make the argument that Tua is the worst one of those 5.
Yeah, or Hurts.
Or Hurts. Exactly. Like so the QB 4 and 5 is better in that draft than it is in the 2018 draft because you're looking at Sam Darnold and Josh Rosen, who, I mean, like you said, Sam Darnold's making a late resurgence.
But I don't think anyone would take Darnold over Tua or Jalen Hurts.
I think that the fun topic is like, who are you taking at the top there? Are you taking like Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, or are you taking Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow type
I'm
of
taking
thing?
Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. Yeah.
Look, again, I'm not going to hate anybody for whatever. Those are 2 remarkable classes. And imagine like if 2021 panned out too, like we would have been talking.
2021 is like the worst.
Yeah, I know, but they was like going down as like that was like the greatest quarterback class
came out.
ever.
It's like this is better than 2020. Well, I mean, at the time, like Hurts was not really expected to be this good, and
but still,
Jordan Love was a shock. Trey. I still like Trey Lance. Maybe he'll start for the Cowboys next year.
This is Trey Lance #1 truther.
Yeah.
But